All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, this Pride of Lions. Holy crap, Batman! This is Dream Higher. It doesn't get much better than Jim Peterick and Toby Hitchcock together. I mean, if you're a fan of Survivor, Foreigner, Giant, I don't know. Firehouse, maybe. I'm just throwing out names now. Probably not too much like Firehouse, right? But I figured I'd mention them since nobody talks about Firehouse anymore. Here's Pride of Lions, Dream Higher. The song itself is really optimistic. That's the title track from the album. But Toby Hitchcock, man, is just such a great singer. Jim Peterick, he's a guy who co-wrote Hold On Loosely and Fantasy Girl and all of the Survivor songs you know, and Eye of the Tiger. Now he's the Pride of Lions. Really amazing, and you should check it out. Also, please check out Modern Retro Radio. They are playing new stuff by classic artists. I don't know if they're going to be playing the Pride of Lions. I will consult with them and see what they think about it. But just a tremendous internet radio station. I was listening this weekend, and they went deep into their archives and pulled out all kinds of great music that you won't hear on the radio. ModernRetroFM.com. You won't be disappointed. Journey fans are not disappointed because they have a new documentary to watch. And I got to tell you, I haven't seen it yet, but I've been reading some articles, and some little blurbs have been surfacing. This one article that came out over the weekend is very interesting, has a Jonathan Cain saying some things. One of the things that he talks about is how he was receiving threats for firing Steve Perry. Oh, man. Now, yours truly has received a few of those, which... You know, it's just not a cool thing. And I don't have a security team. I just want to let people know. I don't have Matt Walsh's security team. Journey obviously pays for private security. And there's way more of a risk being as public as these guys are for so many years. And there are some wacky people. And when they start saying stuff, even if they're not serious, how do you know they're not serious? Anyway, this new documentary, it's called Journey, A Voice Lost and Found, I guess was on Reels last night. I had patrons telling me about it and so forth, and I'm hoping to watch it in the days ahead somehow. I'll do a free trial of something, or I don't know, I guess you might be able to watch it on Amazon, maybe? Anyway, I'll figure this out, maybe today. So Jonathan Cain opened up about Steve Perry's departure from the band and how he, Jonathan Cain, faced threats from fans afterward. Now, I do remember when they rolled Steve Augeri out there, which at least in this article, they're not mentioning Steve Augeri, but man, that guy had big shoes to fill. It actually took cojones for Steve Augeri to go out there and be the new Steve Perry. His name was really similar. Jerry, Perry, Steve. So, from a marketing standpoint, it seemed to be working, but the fans apparently weren't having it. According to Cain, it was a big blowback from fans. Some felt Journey wouldn't be Journey without Steve Perry. By the way, there are a lot of people who tell me all the time, Dave, it's not Journey. There's no Journey without Steve Perry. And here's the deal. If Perry didn't want to return, and I've done this in so many videos, if Perry didn't want to come back to Journey, right, then what do? I mean, Steve Perry, I think what Steve Perry wanted these guys to do was just retire the Journey brand. And again, he always said in these documentaries that came out, VH1 and so forth, you guys can do whatever you want to do, but don't crack the stone, right? It's an expression that Neil Sean apparently doesn't like all that much. Don't crack the stone. Okay, well, can we work? Can we go out? I mean, this brand is one of the biggest brands in rock music here in the United States and around the world for that matter. And you want us to retire the brand and then rebuild and go out there and be and do something else. Now, whether Steve Perry likes it or not, and I know a lot of fans hate this, but Journey was Journey before Steve Perry. And a lot of people on the last Journey tour found that out when Greg Raleigh showed up. What was it, in Austin, Texas? And I'm pretty sure they played some stuff from the Raleigh era. You know, they didn't go crazy, but if you went to go see Journey Through Time, then you got to hear the entire catalog. And those first three albums, some people hate them. The people who love like the Open Arms Journey, they listen to that stuff and they're like, ooh, that's not, that's horrible, right? But the hardcore rockers, I remember this because when Journey started to go soft, right? A lot of the old school Journey people, and there were quite a few of them because they were showing up at concerts. You can see in a couple of documentaries, there was just like thousands of people. They would do a festival. I remember they had one episode where Robert Fleischman had taken over on vocals, and that was a very short-lived experience for the band because Robert was doing some weird stuff, but he was a singer. He was a crooner to some degree. Anyway, I remember seeing just thousands of people. So they weren't selling albums. And you know what? If they use that model today, they would be better off because you could still pack a stadium. Hence, that's why you've got like bands, jam bands out there like Widespread Panic. They don't get any radio airplay, and I doubt they sell that many albums. But guess what? I mean, tens of thousands of people show up for them. So anyway, if Journey had known in advance that the record industry was going to implode because of technology and Napster and whatever downloads, they could have held on. You could have, hey, Herbie, I've got this crystal ball. Sit down. Jam band music is going to be a big deal. Doesn't matter if you get on the radio. And Herbie probably would have said, you're crazy, right? Anyway, those first three albums are interesting. And if you don't like them, I understand it. But I like all of it. I like the beginning of Journey, and then I love that fusion between Perry and Raleigh when Perry comes in for Infinity. And those albums with Perry and Raleigh, I think, are really technically the best. I think the critics think Infinity is their best album ever. Escape ends up being definitely their most commercial as far as success goes. And it did take the band in a new direction. So anyway, I've gone way off the rails here to just talk about how there was a Journey before Steve Perry. That's the punchline there. But anyway, Jonathan Cain says some interesting things here about the fact that he faced threats from fans. And I'm thinking probably to his own physical safety. You guys got rid of Steve. How could you do that? So again, some felt Journey wouldn't be Journey without Steve Perry. He says that's certainly one of the opinions that's out there, and it's still out there. But I felt that the music was bigger than us. But the fans objected. They had to see it to believe it. Still, Cain admitted that he had concerns about potential risks due to angry responses. He said Steve was up for the game too, meaning Steve Augeri, I believe. He showed up and did an admirable job. He was a great entertainer and gave us 8 solid years, and the ladies loved him. But back in my mind, I wondered, what if something horrible happened? What if somebody brought a gun? They would leave nasty messages on my phone machine. So again, Steve Augeri had big cojones, right? He had to replace Steve Perry. You want me to do what? And it was Cain and his wife at the time, I believe, that remembered Tall Stories, which was this really cool band that Steve Augeri was in the early 90s. That, of course, flopped because it was released in the early 90s. If you go back and listen to that album, you're going to be like, whoa, why wasn't this all over the radio, right? But it's, the industry did that. Look, people like this music a lot. People should go out and listen to this, but it's sad, but what are you going to do? Again, old man yelling at the cloud. Yes, I know. Anyway, they would leave nasty messages on my phone machine. So obviously Jonathan Cain was concerned about his safety. He then clarified that Steve Perry was not kicked out of the band, but rather chose to depart due to his physical pain. Now, this is a point that's been debated like over and over again. So this is what Perry did. He said, you know what? Just retire the brand. Get rid of it. Go your own separate ways. Sorry to use that, but, he was like, don't crack the stone, meaning this is Journey. This is what we all made together. I can't be there to be with you guys anymore, or I refuse to be there with you guys. That's the way Neil and John presented it to everybody. And I think they were accurate doing that because they were begging for Perry to come back. And Perry's like, no, I'm not coming back. And obviously, at that time, Perry had the option of getting the surgery. And he eventually did get the surgery, which is kind of ironic. But would he have come back even after he got, say they waited 5 years for Steve Perry? We'll just shut it down, Steve. We won't do anything. If you decide you want to come back, come on back, and we'll just wait for you. No. My guess is that John and Neil, they recorded this album called Trial by Fire. It was a great album, and they didn't get to tour. And so they were thinking, we're just going to take this brand and just run with it without Steve Perry. And the result, obviously, is that the fans weren't too excited about it. This is what Jonathan Cain says, though, about Steve Perry. I had to change my number 3 times. There was a lot of anger. The fans thought we kicked Steve out, which was not true. He just didn't want to do it anymore. He was going through physical pain, and it can be excruciating. So I think Jonathan Cain, 25 years later, definitely has softened his take on this. And he goes on. The musician also acknowledged Perry's desire for a private life. All that extreme traveling and lifestyle just drains your body from the ability to heal. I think with years of touring, you pay a price for it physically. It can take a toll. I think Steve felt it was time to get off the train. And he's a personal guy. He likes his personal life. Cain also says he has no hard feelings about Steve Perry. I don't have anything bad to say about him. He might have his difficult ways. He's eccentric in a lot of ways, but he wanted a private life, and he was always fair with me. He was a great bandmate and a great band leader. Interesting. So the article goes on to do a little cut and paste journalism here. Although the issue of his returning to Journey comes up from time to time, Perry explained to Classic Rock in 2019 that he chose to embrace the uncertainty of the future rather than revisit the past. That's a corporate way of saying, I'm not coming back. Neil Schon also said last year that there was no chance of reuniting with Perry, even for a special show. Now, the only thing that's changed, and I'll just, this is just giving a tiny little glimmer of hope for the Journey reunion thing, is that Perry decided to drop his lawsuit. And that was against all the trademarks. And I don't know if that paved the way for anything, but I think Neil Schon said something like, okay, great, now we can go out and have that coffee, which has never happened. It's all just sad. And there's a lot of drama here, no question. This documentary, it's going to be clickbait. The Journey fans are going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Most of it looks like it's history that we either know or, maybe minus a couple of details we know. So I'm definitely interested in watching it. And I know a lot of the patrons here on my channel. By the way, if you want to be a patron, it's $1 a month. I really need your support. A bunch of people saw my crybaby video I did over the weekend. I hate doing those videos. I lost 30,000 views overnight across the entire platform. Over how many videos that is. It's kind of devastating. It's just, there's no other word to describe it. So if you can help me on Patreon, look, if I can double the Patreon support that I currently have, I'm just going to put this out there. I think I'm going to be all right. That's the way I look at life. I mean, things cost a lot of money. I'm constantly buying music to showcase. I know that's not a ton of money to put out there, but I do, a few things to put it back into the presentation. Obviously, you're not getting the most high-tech presentation here, but you're getting this, okay? And why do I buy these? So I can showcase them so people can see what they look like. It's the old days, LPs, remember? You just pull the sleeve out and you're looking at all of the credits on there, looking at all the musicians who played on there. That's the era I'm from. I'm from long ago. And so I'm trying to keep this going. So I need your support. YouTube memberships, there's a little join button on the YouTube page. Every so often, I will upload a members only video. I may be doing that more frequently if I can get a few more members on there. Otherwise, I have a very small audience, but you're getting something for your $2.99 a month. In any event, folks, I really appreciate the support anyway. For you patrons who have increased your support, for the messages I got over the weekend, I get very long messages, and I'm sorry I didn't reply to all of them, or if I did, it was really slow or brief. It's because, like Sunday, for instance, I tend to spend some time with my family. But I appreciate, again, those people who are concerned. Best thing you can do, support the channel. Go over and listen to Modern Retro Radio, great radio station, which I kind of work with as far as programming and just... they promote me, I promote them. And so it's kind of a circular firing squad. I don't know what it is, but we're in this together, folks. We're watching, the classic rock music industry kind of imploding. I mean, it's in slow motion, but it's kind of going away. And, when I first started doing this, there was a lot more stuff ahead, but it's been 7 years, and I think in another 10, maybe even another 5, a lot of this stuff is just going to go by the wayside, and you'll be going to see your favorite tribute band, like Hot Blooded, those guys from Ohio. Check them out if you have a chance to do so, if you like the music of Foreigner. All right, I have talked way too long, and I will, again, talk to you soon, though.